quick review of Italeri British Infantry set, which I got just to look at. So that's fine. It's more late war than early war, which is a thing for me. But whatever. It's also you can tell by the, if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but there's the lack of gas mask holder on the front, on the chest. That's one clue, and the second is they got Piats for the Piat anti-tank weapon. But I say these plastic sets are a good option if you're really cheap or really broke, and they do the job, especially if you're prepared to kit bash. For example, there's a guy online who does big rapid fire type armies, like division scale, and he does a lot of kit bashing. To add the things that don't come on the sets. So, for example, this set doesn't have any mortars, light mortars or medium mortars. But he basically kit bashes all the stuff that he just doesn't have, just using bits of whatever, bits of plastic card or whatever. You use bits of sprue for mortars and stuff. And that's the thing to look at when you look at these figures that, for example, this guy's swinging a rifle. It's not the most useful figure for wargaming, I'd say. I mean, it doesn't actually matter if especially things like rapid fire. It doesn't matter what they're armed with, because the scale is so high. It's like one figure is going to be 15 guys. So you could just use that guy as it is. But also the other thing, you think about how to use that for items you don't have. Like I say, it could be a mortar loader, for example. If you cut the rifle off and cut the arm off and then glued it back, spun it round, and put some little bit of green stuff on his hand for a mortar bomb, for example. So that's the thing you can do with these plastic figures, if you're missing some bit of weaponry that you want on your things. So so there's those two, and those two are, so if it's late war, it doesn't matter because they've got Piats anyway. But you can kit bash them because they're plastic. They have lots of repeats, which is, again, price is what you get. So you get these this string of 4. There's a string of 4 figures in repeated rows of you've got a standing rifleman, kneeling rifleman, a guy with a Thompson, and another guy with a Thompson and a pickaxe on his shoulder. So I say, depending on what kind of rules you're using and stuff, and how many how critical it is that they have the right weapons. But just say, for example, in my system where I'm using 3 guys on a base to represent either, well, the scale varies, but basically have 3 guys on a base, and that could be an ACO, for example. But so you got 3, 4, 6 repeats of those 4, so that's 24 guys. That's almost at a platoon scale, platoon level. And then there's another set here of a guy throwing a grenade and a guy with advancing. And that's 6. So that's basically got 30 guys that can be your standard infantry, plus these 6. There's 2 wounded ones, which I suppose you could use as medics or some other thing. You could probably, I don't know, you could probably do something with those. And the 2 of the Piats, 2 of the rifle butts. So there's plenty there, and plenty of stuff that you can use for other things. Radio operator, 2 officers. So it's all pretty good. I mean, I got it just to look at, and I prefer the metal or I prefer the metal lancer miniatures, to be honest, as the kind of basis. But for a later war, or for just generally, you can make what you need out of these sets. And I think this is quite a good one in terms of the number of useful figures. I think this is quite a good set. It's also got 3 heavy machine gunners and loaders, which is useful, more than I need, but useful. And then you've got 3 Bren gunners lying down. Not the most useful pose for Bren gunners, in my opinion, but still, it does the job. So instead of something like rapid fire, where it doesn't matter what they're armed with, these would be great. And originally, that's what I got them for, really. So because it wouldn't matter, you just, you need 8 or generally they have 8 figures for an infantry company, and more like 11 in the early war. So these would be great for that kind of game, because it's dirt cheap, relatively speaking. Like I think the box is about 10 quid, I think, or 8 quid. I don't know what it is, but it's that sort of level, which is like, I don't know, 10 or so of the metal miniatures. So I say, for something like rapid fire, where you don't need to worry about what the actual weapons of the figure are, because it's at a high level of abstraction. And if you're doing it in 172, I mean, it's a bit of finishing. Well, depends. It doesn't really matter. But if you had 20mm tanks and 25mm infantry, again, it doesn't really matter, but it might matter to somebody. Secondly, and you can kitbash them to a certain extent as well. I'll put a link to that guy. He's got a Portuguese name and I can't pronounce it, I'm afraid. Apologies, but he does some amazing stuff. So I'd say this is a very good set, and if you're either broke or cheap, or just have plan to do massive armies, then this is quite a good set, I'd say. Better if you're the sort of person who's comfortable with kitbashing, but generally pretty good. Anything more to say? I don't know. I don't know. I suppose I'll probably use a few of these with I don't know what I'll do actually. There's a bunch of things I could do with them, but for now I'm probably going to stick with the metal mixture of Lancer and early war miniatures. But good value, I'd say, and good for people who are a specific, for a specific what's the word, goal, I suppose is the word. I only need something like 30 or so or 40 infantry figures, and so getting them in metal is not a big deal. But if I was trying to do like whole armies, I mean literal armies of figures, then I'd get a set like this. I'll get multiple sets like this. Anything else to say? I don't know. Yeah, so anything else to say? I don't think so. Okay, to a bit.